Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Exodus, starting at chapter 15, verse 22, going through chapter 16, verse 10. Now, just after they get done singing and praising God with the song of redemption, right? 3 days in, they're complaining. And they're not just complaining, they're grumbling. And that word in the text means more than just not being happy. It really is about rebellion against God. It's about mutiny. And they come upon some water and they find this place, Marah, and it's bitter. It's undrinkable water. And they're complaining to Moses, what are you going to do about this? We don't have any water to drink. And they forget that the God who has led them into their freedom, he seems to be the God who can deal with water. He did so with the Nile, turning it to blood. And he was able to fold up the water so they could pass through on dry land. Water should be something he can take care of. But they don't pray. They just grumble. But Moses, he immediately turns to prayer, cries out to the Lord. And the Lord shows him a piece of wood, which is funny because, God, I don't need lumber right now. I need water. But he tells him to take that wood and that it will make the water drinkable. It somehow draws out the impurities. It's a miracle of God. And then the Lord issues an instruction to the people. And he says, and this really shows that they've hit a snag that instead of going straight to the promised land, we're going to have a detour. Because he says, if you will listen to my word, if you will pay attention to my word and do it and follow it, do what's right, then you'll find out that I'm the Lord who heals, who gives life. But if you want to live by the law instead of grace, you'll find out that I'm the God that you saw back in Egypt. I'm the God who gives the plagues. Now, we get into chapter 16 and as they're moving along, now they're complaining that they're not happy. They don't have meat stew like they used to do back in Egypt. And what's interesting is they have livestock, but they won't take the milk or cheese it's not that they're really starving. They could have milk and cheese from their livestock. They could butcher one of their own animals and feed themselves, but they don't seem to want to do that. And they have this false memory. They're remembering the good old days of slavery in Egypt when we used to have lots of meat pie. And then the amazing grumbling, mutinous thought is that they accuse God of a wicked scheme, that you've just brought us out to kill us. I mean, just the heinous wickedness of what they accuse God of doing because he doesn't meet their expectations. And you just meant to starve us. Again, they're not really starving. And God responds, I have heard your grumbling. In fact, we are told that God didn't just hear their grumbling. He heard their grumbling in verse 6, verse 8, verse 9, and verse 12. God has heard their grumbling. And he says, you want some food? I'm going to rain down bread from heaven. I'm going to drop, meat from heaven. And you will see that I am the Lord God who provides for you. And part of the thing to go back, because we're skipping over it, is that they don't grumble to the Lord. Again, they don't pray. They grumble to Moses and Aaron. And they attack the Lord's servants. Instead of, as a community or even as individuals, to go to the Lord in prayer, they complain to the leaders of the congregation. And they say, why are you grumbling at us? It's not like we have the power to fix this problem. And then we hear verse 9. Moses tells Aaron to tell the people, tell them to come on out. The Lord has heard your grumbling and he's going to show up. And you would think maybe that might get their attention because when the Lord comes in the pillar of fire and cloud, he comes with power. Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.